He wasn't the kind of man who said much. His silence filled the house more than any words ever could. To his son, he was just dad. Strict, distant, always tired from work. To everyone else, he was a man who provided. A man who didn't smile much. A man who never complained. But behind that silence was a story that nobody ever asked about. When his son, Ethan, was 10 years old, he couldn't understand why his father never came to his school events. Every other kid's dad was there, cheering, taking pictures, clapping. Ethan's dad was always busy. At least, that's what everyone said. So Ethan grew up thinking his father didn't care. He stopped trying to talk to him, and the distance between them grew like a wall, brick by brick, year after year. By the time Ethan turned 18, that wall was complete. They lived in the same house, but in different worlds. When Ethan left for college, his father didn't stop him. He just nodded and said, "Take care." Ethan took that silence as indifference. He never looked back. Years went by. Ethan became successful. A good job, a new car, an apartment in the city. But somehow, success didn't feel like happiness. There was always something missing. Something that silence had taken away. One evening, Ethan got a call. It was his mother. Her voice was weak. She said his father had been sick for months and didn't tell anyone. She said he had something he wanted to give him. When the time feels right. Ethan hesitated. Part of him wanted to go. Part of him didn't. He hadn't spoken to his father properly in years. What could they even talk about now? Still, he drove back home that weekend. The same small house. The same old porch light that flickered like it always did. His father was sitting in the backyard, staring at the sunset, a blanket around his shoulders. He looked smaller somehow, weaker, but his eyes, they were the same. Calm, kind, quiet. Ethan sat down next to him. For a while, neither spoke. Then his father said softly, "You look tired." Ethan laughed awkwardly. "Work's been crazy." His father nodded. "You always worked hard. Just like your mother." There was a pause. The air was heavy with everything they never said. Then his father reached into his pocket and handed Ethan a small envelope. Inside was a collection of old photos. Ethan as a child, smiling, playing, winning a small school trophy. Ethan froze. "How did you get these?" His father smiled faintly. "I was there." Every time Ethan looked at him in shock. "You were there?" "I never saw you." "I know," his father said. "You weren't supposed to. I used to stand at the back, near the doors. I didn't want to embarrass you. I just wanted to see you smile." Ethan felt a lump in his throat. All those years of anger, confusion, and distance, all built on misunderstanding. His father wasn't absent. He was just silent. He whispered, "Why didn't you ever tell me?" His father looked at the sunset and said, "Some love doesn't need words, son. It just needs presence." They sat there for hours, no arguments, no apologies, just silence that finally felt peaceful. That night, Ethan's father passed away in his sleep. He left behind one note, written in shaky handwriting. "Greater than, don't be like me, Ethan. Tell the people you love that you love them, while they can still hear it." Ethan read it again and again. He realized his father's silence wasn't empty. It was full of love that never found its way out. Years later, Ethan became a father himself. And every time his little boy smiled, he would whisper, "I love you, son," because he never wanted silence to say what words could. And sometimes, when he looks at the sunset, he still feels like his father is sitting beside him, quiet, proud, and smiling, because some bonds never break, some hearts never leave, and some fathers never stop loving, even in silence. If this story touched your heart, subscribe to Ask Why How, because sometimes the quietest stories are the ones that speak the loudest.